This is Max Shears for Pro Boxing Fans. I'd like to join, as always, to be joined by Dave Allen. Dave, you're not alone today. I mean, I'll let you introduce Paige and then we will pan it on to Paige.
Yeah, come doubling today. Obviously, it's Katie Taylor's, farewell fight. So I thought, who better to bring than Paige Burney? Commonwealth Games silver medalist. Narrowly missed out going to the Olympics 2021. Obviously, the 2020 Games, Caroline Dubois just pipped her 4-0 as a pro. She had a bit of an issue with her knee, but she's back now. She's going to box on the undercard of a big fight to be announced on the Matchroom show in October. I think she'll be world champion in 18 months. So I thought, why not bring her over, to a show this get her face about. Met Eddie today, because we believe in her. So yeah, I just wanted to bring her over, and we had a good day, good crack. Yeah.
Definitely. Obviously, I spoke to you last week and we spoke about Liam Carrigan's style. I mean, for people that haven't seen Paige yet, what can they expect? What is it about Paige that you thought, I want to work with her and this could be the one?
Well, a coach is a friend of mine. I know him a long time through sparring guys at his gym. So, Paige got in touch and just said, look, I've had a bad injury, but I'm back now. My current manager, the managerial contract's run out, so you're one of my favourite boxers and a bit of a hero to me, so I'd like to work with you. I know I made that up, but I got in touch and I rung my old man and I said, what do you think? And he said, yeah, that's definitely worth looking into, because she's good. That's someone you should be trying to work with. So yeah, we're in doubling now and looking forward to the future with her.
Definitely. Well, Paige, obviously, I know there's a lot of joking with Dave, there's a lot of laughs and some jokes that maybe aren't as funny, but you do have the approval from him and his dad. So I mean, it must be good to work with Dave. Obviously, I think today is the first proper day of meeting each other and working together, but I mean, why work with Dave Allen?
We've met a few times now. He commentated on my first ever pro fight, and he come to my third one. So like I said, my other manager's contract ended. I just think he's very passionate about his fighters, so it's good to work with someone so passionate and someone who can get you opportunities, like he's just said, hopefully on a big Matchroom card. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people spend a lot of time with Dave. This is the first day with Dave today. I mean, sum up Dave from the first day. Are you surprised by what he's like? What was your Dave like today?
Eventful. I think I didn't expect anything less, to be honest. He's the same as what he comes across on his social media. But yeah, definitely an eventful day.
So as you're out in October, I know you can't give away the card, but I mean, there's no bigger opportunity, is there, than starting on the Matchroom bill? I mean, it must be the perfect start with Dave, yeah?
100%, and especially with female boxing at the minute, Katie Taylor's set to retire, so I think the belts will come vacant again. So, and especially with women, a couple of fights and you're pushed into big fights, so big opportunities for all the females out there who have had 4, 5, 6 fights.
Dave, just to reiterate that, I mean, the journey to World Championship in 18 months, what does that look like? Is it stay active with Paige, or how does the next 18 months look?
With the Thomas Carty fight, obviously I accepted the fight in seconds, basically, and then it took him a couple of weeks to get back to it. Then he came back to me. I said, look, I'm not too bothered, so I left it on the table for a bit. I went back and said, look, this deal, I would like a few things. He said, well, what money do you want? I said, it's not about the money can stay the same, but just want a few of my boxers to get chances. So Joe Howell is going to box on the Pat Brown card, Joe Hayden will box on the Dalton Smith card, and Paige will box on the I think it'll be a Ben Whittaker card in October in Birmingham. So that's all I wanted, really, just give them a chance. Them three, and there's going to be 3. I think I've got 3 other slots as well that'll be given out after. And as for Paige and the other boys, if you win with Matchroom and you box well and you sell a few tickets, you stay on. So now the great thing is for the Joes and Paige, all they've got to do is perform and they'll stay on. And there's not many bigger and better platforms of Matchroom and DAZN to be on. So obviously I don't train Paige, so the ball's in their court. I've done my job, and now it's up to her to go and perform, sell a few tickets, and show that dazzling charisma she's got. That's what she's got to do. So she's just a nice, quiet woman, but she's a very good boxer, you know, and that'll shine through. So I think it's first week of October. So yeah, we're really, really, really looking forward to it.
Definitely, Paige. I saw you meeting with Eddie. I mean, I know the conversation is more of a meeting, but I know down the line you'd love to work with an Eddie, a Frank Warren. I mean, what did you say to Eddie? Were you trying to almost plant the seeds of watch my fight in October? I'm going to put on a statement showing.
Yeah, I definitely make sure I put on a statement then. And I think every fighter, professional fighter on the small hall shows, want to have them opportunities. So when you have got them, you've got to take them in both hands. So I look to definitely try and make a statement on that date.
Just before I ask Dave about his fight, I mean, we've seen Thomas Carty today. I think he's a bit bigger than Dave. I mean, what sort of test does Dave Allen have on the Katie Taylor undercard?
I think it's a good fight for him. I think people will be definitely interested, as they always are, with watching Dave Allen fight. And then off the back of that, his last loss, I think he'll have a bit more bite and want to show people what he is capable of, because he's capable of a lot more than what he's shown, I think.
Definitely, and Dave, same again for you. I remember after the Hrgovic fight that you posted on your story of you in the gym, and you had a point to prove, is what I got from the social media posts and stuff like that. As much as we'll have a laugh, I imagine that is the point that you want to prove on September 5th.
Yeah, after the Hrgovic fight, I was a bit disappointed in it really, because I didn't think I got my chance to do what I wanted to do. It only went just shy of 3 rounds. I think the fight should have continued on, and I think I would have lost on points and had a little bit of success as the fight went on, but that's been and gone. So I had a fight last week. Just wanted to get a few. Got a fight in 3 weeks' time. Just wanted to get some rounds in, really. You know, where I'm throwing the punches, I'm doing the work. I'm just get used to winning again. It was the Mammadov fight and the Hrgovic fight. You know, it was 15 rounds really. Where I only probably won 3 at the most, maybe 4 at the very most. So yeah, the Carty fight is important, because if I don't win it, it's over. But I don't necessarily feel much pressure with it, because I've been doing this game a long time now. I've been boxing for 18 years. My first fight was 16 years ago. Been at it forever, so I don't really feel the pressure. You know, I'm one of the few that I've got some out of boxing. You know, I've got something to show for it. I've done it. I don't actually. As I sit here now, I don't need to box again, but I am, because I want to. I want to show people I'm a good fighter. Beating Thomas Carty, another good win. You add that to the official wins, the Webb win, Lucas Brown. He'll go on my resume and cement me as a good fighter. You know, not a world beater, but a good fighter. So it's an important fight to me, but as they all are. But you don't always box great. Like the Hrgovic fight, I didn't box great, but that's life. So I think Thomas will feel the pressure at home, and you know, he's in with someone that's a big step up from what he's faced. So I'm very confident about the fight, but by no means it will be an easy one.
Dave, I was fortunate enough to speak to you. I think it was last week or the week before after your fight. Obviously, I saw that fight, and the message you gave me was kind of July 25th. We'll see where we're at, then we'll make a decision. Obviously, now the Carty fight is signed. Has something changed? Why is it signed? Have you looked at yourself and gone, I have got a lot more to give? How come the Carty fight has been signed in the last week or two?
Eddie came back and said, look, Joe Howard, he came back and said, look, Joe Howard can go on the Pat Brown card. And I thought, well, that's enough for me. You know, he had a bit of bad luck, Joe, and he will fly in and had some bad luck. So as soon as Ed said, look, Joe Howard can go on, I said, right, we'll do it. But then I said, look, I'm going to need more than that, mate. Do you know what I mean? But I was only blagging him, really. And then, obviously, Joe and Paige and a few other things. So that was it, really. That was it, yeah. The money's all right. The money's obviously, it's a lot less than I've been getting paid, but it's a winnable fight. It's all right taking the fights where you're expected to lose and with good fighters, but the real bravery is in taking the 50-50s like I'm with Carty. It's a 50-50. These are the scary ones. You lose these, you're in a bit of a, you know, you're not in a good place. So yeah, but I don't really turn down any fight, to be honest. There was never any danger in turning down the fight. A, I was trying to wind Eddie up, and B, I wanted what I wanted, and we got it, and now we're happy.
Definitely. You said on the stage that he's the better boxer, technically. I mean, you've fought people that are better boxers than you in the past, so I imagine that's not something you're scared of, but how do you kind of eliminate that difference in boxing ability? What is the difference for you to win this fight?
I think he's a better mover and a better textbook boxer. In terms of being, I don't think he's more skilled than me. I'm pretty well skilled really. I've been around forever, know all the tricks and that. But he moves very well. He moves better. I would say he moves better, and he's the more textbook, fundamentally sound fighter. But I think my experience is his ability. You know, I've been through tricky stages of fights. I've been in hard fights. I've been stopped. I've been through pretty much everything you can have. I've had cuts. I've had all sorts. The only thing I've not had is been knocked down yet. But I think he's the better mover. I think he's got the better straight punches. But in terms of is he the better boxer, in terms of being able to fight inside, which is where we'll be after a couple of rounds, I'm not too sure. So I just fancy being way too strong for him and hitting too hard, to be honest.
On stage, you also said a lot of fighters, you'll take the shots till the 5th round and then you'll catch him and that will be the end of it. He completely disagreed. He said he can take your shots and that he'll knock you out. I mean, look, that's what fighters say, isn't it? But do you think you do have the power to stop him?
Yeah, that level, everyone I've hit I've knocked out. Anyone I've ever hit all my career I've knocked out, every single one of them. The 9 losses, I didn't even hit him. Everyone I've hit I've knocked out. I don't think I'm a ginormous puncher, but at this level I certainly can crack, and if I hit Thomas Carty I'll knock him into next week. And I think he can punch a little bit himself, but I've been with bigger punchers and never been on the floor, so you always have to worry about it. I'm not dismissing his power or whatever, but I just think I'm a different level of hard to him. Like, I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, because he is, but I think I'm way too rough for him. Way too rough for him.
Look, every time I see other people interview you, the story of Dave Allen is let's get him his British title. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that maybe that isn't the ultimate goal. It isn't necessarily at the forefront of your mind. I mean, not to look past Thomas Carty, but obviously it is a massive win if you win at Croke Park in front of 80,000 people. Is that what you want, the British title? Like, where, I know it's hard to look forward, but it seems like everyone inevitably thinks Dave Allen's going to fight for a British title. Is that what you want?
I don't know, I'm not sure. Probably. Sure about that. I don't really know. At different times in my career I wanted different things. Early on in my career I just wanted to have a few pro fights. Then I wanted to box on the TV. Then I wanted to be world champion. Then I wanted to be a British champion. And then I had the kids, and I thought, what, all I want out of boxing is financial security for me and my kids. I'm not bothered about the British title. I weren't bothered about anything really. My granddad passed away. Couldn't care less about the belt. I just wanted to have enough money to do what I wanted to do, and I've got that now. So from here on, really, more important than the belts is the venues. Croke Park. I genuinely did not know where Croke Park was. I'd never even heard of it till Kate Taylor fighting there. Apparently it's hurling, the GAA or something. Well, that's not where my interest lies. So I didn't even know where it was, but to be able to box on an 80,000 seat stadium is going to be an exceptional, occasion for me. So yeah, I'm over the moon to be able to do that. But in terms of belts and stuff, I'm not really bothered. It's more about who and where. It's about who I'm boxing and where I'm boxing. They're the only things that really matter now. Belts and that, great, but they'd be a bonus.
Definitely. Look, Dave, I've been lucky enough to speak to you about your fights twice now in the past 2 weeks. I'm just going to ask you about some of the recent news. I mean, one, a man you've sparred, Oleksandr Usyk, vacates the belts. Do you think that's more of like an internal thing, that the man you sparred in preparation for the Derek Chisora fight maybe thinks, we are coming to the end, let's not lose due to age, for example? Do you think that's the reason this has happened, or what?
I think Oleksandr Usyk's a really, really decent man, and I think he knows. I think the Verhoeven rematch is going to happen, and I don't think he wants to hold the division up. I think he's very self-aware and he knows that, and I expect we'll see the Verhoeven rematch, and that's why he's vacated the belt. I think he wants to give Talma, Wardley, Dubois, all these guys a chance to win the titles and unify them as well. I think he's just a really decent bloke, and he just wanted to give the division a chance. That's all it was really, so fair play to him.
Last night, the Ring Magazine's Mike Coppinger reported that rather than the Rico Verhoeven rematch, Usyk's looking at Deontay Wilder and John Jones, a man you said is the baddest man on the planet in history. I mean, you can't really look past these guys after what Rico's done and what Ngannou did to Fury, but do either of them fights interest you at all?
I mean, out of them three, probably the Wilder fight. Wilder's a former champion, he just beat Derek Chisora. And he's one of the best for this era, isn't he, really? You got Usyk, Joshua, Fury, Wilder, they were the top 4 guys, so I could understand that one happening. But The John Jones fight probably be a little farcical in a boxing match. The Verhoeven rematch I think would be of interest because of the first one, but the John Jones one is so left field, like a bit bizarre really.
And then obviously them belts do get spilt out. I mean, just quickly running through it, Ajit Cabello promoted. I mean, I think the whole boxing world thinks that that's deserved. That's what should have happened. But Tyson Fury keeps on talking about some breaking news. You're not going to believe what's going to happen. I saw Boxing King Media say everyone's going to be shocked. And he keeps on posting that he's #1 ranked with the WBC. I mean, do you think there's any chance that he sacks off the AJ fight to go and become a 3-time world champion? And also, how does Tyson Fury versus Ajit Cabello play out?
I think it's a bit disappointing when the fighters get given the titles by email or whatever. Like let Cabello fight for the vacant title against another guy in the top 15. Let him win the belt. You know, if he's losing his first defence, he's been WBC champion but never won it in the ring. So I think that takes away from Cabello. I don't think it does him any favours giving him the belt. But in terms of Tyson, if he boxed Cabello instead of Joshua, I think he's having a harder fight. I think Cabello's at his very best. I think he's a very, very good fighter, and it'd be a fight I'd be very interested in watching, probably just as much as the Joshua fight, even though the Joshua Fury fight obviously is massive. But I would stay away from Cabello, whoever I would stay away. I know he's got the WBC belt now, so people will fight him, but if I was Tyson and I had the Joshua fight and the payday there, I'd probably leave Cabello alone at this stage.
Definitely. There is a scenario when you go down the WBC rankings where Ajit Cabello, if he was given a mandatory, it could be Deontay Wilder. I mean, how does that play out? I mean, a lot of people didn't see that fight as even a possibility, Ajit Cabello and Deontay Wilder, but Cabello, you typically think of the body shots, and Wilder, we know what he brings. I mean, how much of a chance would you give Deontay Wilder against Cabello for the WBC?
At this point, probably not too much. I just think Wilder's lost that bit of speed. They say your power never leaves you, but the speed goes. I think with Wilder, I think a lot of his power was his speed and the intensity. I think that's gone a little bit. Make Cabello a big favourite. But I mean, it'd be a fight I'd be interested in watching, to be honest. It's a big fight. Wilder's still a big name. You know, he does still carry a bit of a threat, even though I don't think he has the threat of old. Cabello, Wilder, yeah, I'd be intrigued by that matchup, to be honest. Yeah, as a former WBC champion, I wouldn't be overly surprised if that did happen. It would sell.
Obviously, we was out in Dubai in December to watch Murat Gassiev versus Kubrat Pulev. It's likely he'll be promoted to the WBA Super Champion, which a lot of people disagree, but the WBA World Champion. He's going to fight Tony Yoka in around a week or two. How does that play out? Do you think Gassiev could stop him? And also, like, what did you make of Gassiev versus Pulev? Because a lot of people had him losing every single round, and then he stopped him.
Yeah, we're there for Gassiev Pulev. Pulev's a good fighter. He's big and awkward, but Gassiev, he never really looked in any trouble, did he? He's a serious puncher as well, Gassiev. Really, really big puncher. I boxed Tony Yoka 8 years ago. When I boxed Tony Yoka, I thought Tony Yoka was going and be the man in the division. He was that good when I boxed him. I couldn't believe how good he was. And even more shocking, the decline since. But I expect Gassiev will win. I think Yoka's probably got the right style to beat Gassiev, but I don't think he'll keep out of his way for 12 rounds. I think Gassiev is a serious puncher. So interesting fight, but yeah, I think Gassiev will win.
Another name, Dave, that obviously a lot of your career has been shared with, and whenever I speak to you both about each other, there's a lot of respect there after the two fights. Johnny Fisher, I mean, he's spoken about a possible deal with Zuffa, getting 6 to 7 times the amount that Matchroom would offer him. I mean, what's your reaction to that? Are you just happy to see that for him?
Yeah, fair play to him. Yeah, I'm happy for him if he can get that money. I seen Eddie talking about it and just said, look, fair play if you can get paid that money for that fight, great. I like Johnny. Yeah, I like him. If I beat Carty, me and Fisher 3 probably is the common sense fight to me. If I lost to Carty, I've got fight 40. Maybe me and Fisher 3 can still happen, but whatever he does, whether we fight again or not, I wish him the best luck. He's a nice fella, he's a decent bloke.
Definitely. A lot of the time, if I'm working, I'll watch past interviews, and I think it was last week, I'll watch your face-off with him before the second fight, and you spoke about how at the time it was too soon for Johnny to take that rematch, but down the line he could be better than you, he could reach all them levels. I mean, since then, do you still stick with that, or like, because Eddie spoke about he's going to Zuffa and he's fighting a much lower opposition than we'd expect, so like, what do you think the ceiling for Johnny Fisher is after what we've seen in the past 12 months?
I think that's the right thing to do. I seen Johnny, he came up in June last year, do a bit of training with Jamie and Nigel and that, and spent a bit of time with us, and I said, look, you got to start again. He boxed like Ivan Balaz, but Balaz is pretty good, you know, in Monaco. He boxed Balaz, and Balaz is not bad. He's a bit novice and a bit all over the place, but he can punch and he's tough and he's pretty athletic. And I said, that's an awful match. You know, he nearly got beat. But Balaz is not bad at all. I think with Johnny, I think they have to strip him back and start again completely from the beginning. So I really think they should just start again completely. When he boxed Balaz, I could not believe it. I thought, why is he boxing him? It made no sense at all. But hopefully they do the job right. He can certainly punch. He's very tough. He's strong. For me, he's confident. When I boxed him the first time, for the first 2 or 3 rounds, he was really, really good. For the first 2 or 3 rounds inside, I'm thinking, wow, this kid is good. He's fast and sharp, can punch. He meant everything that he did. But the Johnny from the rematch and the Balaz fight, the confidence is completely gone. So I think it's just a confidence rebuilding job, and hopefully he'll go back to where he was when he boxed Alan Babic.
Just quickly before we wrap this up, I was speaking to Michael Ofo earlier, and obviously we know the rematch with Fabio Wardley, Daniel Dubois is going to happen. I mean, a lot of people have different views on that. I mean, first of all, do you agree with Wardley taking that fight straight up?
I mean, he had Dubois down twice, didn't he? Yeah. You know, he did have him down twice, and it ended up being a bit one-sided after 4 or 5 rounds, but I'm sure Fabio will think he's only 1 punch away from beating Dubois and beating anybody, so yeah, I don't think it's Fabio's 31, remember, as well. He's not an old guy by any means, but he's not a young guy. And the way he fights, he's not having too many more fights, is he? So yeah, probably the most money, you know, for the World Heavyweight Championship again. Fair play to him, a lot of respect for him. Yeah, he's a hell of a lot better than I ever thought he would be. I've written him off loads of times, but he's one hell of a fighter. Yeah, so can't knock him at all.
Definitely, a man that you can never write off is Fabio Wardley, so I don't want to write him off there. So let's just talk a hypothetical world. If Daniel Dubois was to fight Moser Tam in, let's say, early 2026, something you will talk about is Dubois' jab and how it's something that you can't really compare to other fighters. Could it be too much too soon? Like, who would you actually lean? If you're sat there making a video on the White Rhino YouTube channel, who would you lean towards?
Tam was just so fast. It's the speed that would scare you. Dubois, for the first round of the Wardley fight, Dubois looked terrified. He was really edgy, and I was a bit worried for him, but he warmed into it. Tam, I think it was too fast and tricky for him. I'd pick a Tam to beat him. Dubois is a world-class man. He's brilliant. He's super strong and powerful. Got a great jab and, you know, good footwork for a big fella. But a Tam, I think, is just a little bit different. And I think his attributes would worry Daniel out of it. Like, Daniel's only lost to Joyce as a kid, but the Usyk fights, Usyk did his head in. The movement, making him miss, all the feints. And I think Atama very much could do the same. So I think with Daniel, the guys that beat him aren't the ones that go punch him like Fabio. They're the guys that make him think and make him miss and make him really second guess what he's doing. And I think he's there for the beating, but there's not many in the world that can do that and get out of the way of his jab.
Definitely. I know I've asked you for your prediction for Tama versus Hrgović, but I do just want to ask, it feels like with Moser Tama when he fights, a lot of people write off the opponent. Obviously we know Atama's pedigree, and they more talk about what can we learn from this fight. How many rounds can Atama go? What sort of lessons can we take? What sort of things can Filip Hrgović bring out of Atama? What do you think we'll learn from that fight?
Filip will put it on him. Filip will come out showing no respect whatsoever. Filip will try and wind him up on fight week, because Filip is Filip. I quite like him, but he is what he is. He likes to wind you up and he likes to play games. I couldn't care less. But I'm not 21 years of age. You know what I mean? So I think he'll challenge. His mind. I think he'll get him thinking fight week. I think he'll try and wind him up. And on fight night, I think he'll come out and he'll really try and set about Moses. He'll not be dancing away. One thing about Hrgović, he didn't really buy too many feints that I put his way, really. He's a tough bloke and he'll throw punches. I don't think he's the biggest puncher in the world, and he cuts easily. I think Atama will go for him in 3 or 4 rounds, but by no means would I be surprised if Hrgović gave him a proper fight either, because he's very, very good. He's direct and strong and carries a bit of a dig in his right hand, but I mean, I have to go with Tom. I think the hype is real. I think he's very, very good.
Definitely. And Dave, the last person I'm going to ask you about on the undercard of Jerome Boots Ennis versus Anders is Ben Whittaker. I think when I watched your video, you said you was impressed by him. Richard Rivera may be the best name that he's beat now. Just about Ben now, I know the Gavazzi fight, you spoke about that. Now, where Ben Whittaker is in his career, have you been impressed? And then we'll talk about October after.
Yeah, the Gavazzi fight, I thought Gavazzi was poor. I thought Ben Whittaker looked great, but he was poor. Suarez is okay, but Whittaker looked great again. Rivera come down from cruiserweight, but again Whittaker looked great. So there's no negative on Whittaker, but I'd like to see him box somebody a bit more proven, someone that we can really get a gauge against, like a Craig Richards, a Lyndon Arthur, Troy Jones, Brad Ray, someone that we can just really get a gauge, because these guys, these American guys, German guys, we don't really know anything about them. They've got good records, but we can't, it's hard to gauge in it, I think. And you've always got that first Cameron fight in the back of your mind, you know, it's always there until he comes to a hard fight and really grits it out and beats a good fighter. You're always wondering, aren't you? That's what I think. But in terms of offensively and ability, he's absolutely unbelievable. But he's still got a lot of questions to answer, I think.
So if on October, as the very last question, if Ben Whittaker versus, let's say, Brad Ray versus Lyndon Arthur is made, do you make him a favourite against these guys? What would be your prediction for those fights?
Yeah, be a big favourite against all of them. I think. You know, I think he's extremely talented. I think he'd beat Lyndon Arthur because Lyndon's a bit more of a boxer. But Brad Ray gave him a hard fight, and I think beating Brad Ray, beating a Troy Jones, a really aggressive, come-forward fighter, would go some way to answering questions. But Eddie's talking about undisputed and stuff, Bivol, Beterbiev, he's still a long way off. But sometimes I give my opinion like that, and people get a bit like, oh, you're a bit negative, but that's the truth. He's a long way off with who he's boxing. If you're talking world titles with the guys at the top of his division, but I wish him the best. I've got no bad feeling for him. I just think the first Cameron fight, there's still a lot of questions to answer.
Definitely, David. Well, thank you very much. Just give us a message as to
thank you.
To watch your fight against Thomas Carty.
Katie Taylor's on, I've been mint. Watch it. Cheers. I'll be on just before.